very uncommon for a company that there is 3-4 years in the market actively to be mentioned that much on Gartner reports.
I think we even Gartner doesn't explain themselves. How can we possibly get so many mentions? We have 39 reports obtained in less than 36 months. That, if you think to it, is like more than a report a month. Plus, we have cool vendor, let alone all the other, recognition, technology pioneer, World Economic Forum, where I'm going to be next week in Dubai. So it doesn't come by chance, right? So you need to work to get there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody think that it's because you become Gartner customer that you automatically get these reports. Not at all, right? So it's actually a lot of work of influencing the influencer, if you want, right? So if the way I explain it, Gartner analysts are aggregators of market information. They speak a lot with customers of theirs, a lot with vendors that relate with them. They do vendor briefing. They're not necessarily expert in the topic, but they know more than anyone else what is the general perception that is forming in the market, right? So they're market
and the
analysts.
momentum and what is people talking about, what they are asking.
So what I think we did right early on, because we were early also in our category, I mean, we kind of created this preemptive security category. It was actually setting the stage of why this would be in the coming years, the new wave. And it was always about not talking about what's happening now, but what is going to come and why we think that we are building in such a way. And so then what happened is that the analysts, when they converse with the other customer, they try to find validation, or maybe they hear validation because they hear the customer chasing and say, hey, we cannot continue to do just detection and response. And so it kind of start to form like a snowball, right? And then, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy if you work in the right way to create the market condition for this new technology to succeed. To me, there are two ways, in category creation. You either are victim of it, like what has happened with AI and everybody, right? AI exploded thanks to OpenAI and LLMs and whatnot. And then everybody start to wash. And then eventually somebody wash it better than the others and truly use the technology and have success. And obviously the market analysts, they just observe and report. Or you have a conviction and you have a thesis and you go after it and you build technology for it and you start to have customers and you show that these customers are getting better results, and then other customers want to learn more about it, and then the market is starting to form and the analysts perceive that. And in fact, the part of Gartner analysts that focus on us the most is what they call the emerging technology analyst team. And this is a team that is focused on identifying those trends, extracting them from the market, not just observing it. Or, we could do a whole podcast on analyst relationship topic. But that as well, you see, it's a good example of, I worked with analysts when I was at Dell Computer. And, for more than 10 years, I worked with Gartner. So there is things that I learned, again, on Michael Dell dime, on how to, converse with them, how to meet them, and, how to influence them, that I've recycled. What is sure that in the US market, it is a requirement for large corporation when they procure that you are somehow mentioned by Gartner. The market guide, it could be a report, it could be a quadrants, of course. So if you are targeting medium to large corporation in the US, Gartner is a no-brainer. In Europe, you need to be there.
And there is another difference, between what you are doing and what many other European companies are doing, because now the general perception in Europe is Gartner is just pay to play, that you cannot interact with the analyst, that they don't want to hear to you. And my experience is similar than yours. For me, what was interesting is how the more that you interact with the analyst, the more that you can really influence or at least share your view, but the customer is the element, right? Now,
let me give you a hack that we use, right? So early days, you want to show one of the reference that the Gartner analysts use to identify if a trend is forming is how many inquiries they get from their own customer, right? So these are large corporations, people that call them asking, okay, tell me more about this company, tell me more about this technology. And the Gartner analysts track how many requests they get on specific vendor and so on. So what I did at the beginning, as I was doing all my prospecting call with prospects, was always asking at the end, and we were only targeting large corporation in the US.
Yeah.
At the end of each one of my demo, I would say, by the way, are you a Gartner customer? If you are, ask them what they think about before AI.
Perfect.
So,
That's a
and
perfect hack.
I was doing like 10, 15 prospecting call a day, right?
Yeah.
And so if you think that maybe 3 or 4 of them a day were connecting now with Gartner asking about before AI, suddenly our account manager actually told us they track internally how many mention of the company were on inquiry calls. And we were checking weekly how many mention of before AI we were getting. We had an internal KPI of growing it week on week. And so we generated, if you want,
But that's
demand.
perfect, and it shows the experience that you have on this topic, because I don't think everybody sees it.